Based on the historical data and forecast, Bitcoin exhibits an overall upward trend. The RSI consistently fluctuates, but generally remains within a range, suggesting neither extreme overbought nor oversold conditions for extended periods. The Bollinger Bands indicate periods of increased volatility, with the price frequently touching the upper band. Considering the forecast for the next week, with prices predicted to rise to $129,400, a long position strategy is warranted. Specifically, I recommend entering a long position at $122,900. A stop-loss order should be placed at $121,000 to mitigate potential losses if the price reverses. The target price should be set at $127,000, allowing for a significant profit while acknowledging potential volatility. To refine this strategy, I will incorporate RSI signals. If the RSI falls below 30, indicating an oversold condition, we will enter a long position at the current price. Conversely, if the RSI exceeds 70, signaling an overbought condition, we will consider exiting the position or shorting. Combining this with the Bollinger Bands, we will enter a long position when the price touches the lower band and the RSI is oversold, and exit when the price touches the upper band and the RSI is overbought. This combined strategy offers a balanced approach, leveraging both momentum and volatility indicators for optimized returns. The portfolio will consist of 70% long position and 30% RSI strategy. Based on the historical data and forecast, Ethereum exhibits a clear upward trend, particularly evident in the recent price surge from $38.80 to $46.80. The RSI consistently fluctuated between 30 and 64, indicating periods of oversold and overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands show a narrowing trend, suggesting increasing volatility. Given this, I recommend a long position strategy. We will initiate a long position at $4,460, capitalizing on the anticipated upward movement in the forecast. A stop-loss order will be placed at $4,360, just below the lower Bollinger Band, to mitigate potential losses. The target price will be set at $4,800, aligning with the forecast high and the upper Bollinger Band, aiming for a significant profit. To refine the strategy, we will incorporate RSI signals. If the price dips to an RSI below 30, we will enter a long position at the prevailing price. Conversely, if the RSI exceeds 80, we will consider exiting the position. The stop-loss remains at $4,360, and the target price is adjusted to $4,790 to balance risk and reward. This combined strategy leverages both Bollinger Bands and RSI to optimize entry and exit points, maximizing potential returns while managing risk effectively. The portfolio will be 70% long Ethereum and 30% in stablecoins to mitigate risk. Based on the historical data and forecast, XRP shows a slight upward trend with support at $2.75 and resistance at $3.04. The RSI fluctuates between 39.7 and 57.6, indicating periods of both oversold and overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands suggest periods of volatility, with the price occasionally touching the upper and lower bands. Considering this, I propose a combined strategy leveraging RSI, Bollinger Bands, and support/resistance levels. We will implement a long position when the RSI dips below 30 and the price is near the support level of $2.75, aiming to capitalize on potential rebounds. Specifically, I recommend entering a long position at $2.75. Set a stop-loss at $2.70 to mitigate potential losses if the price breaks below the support. The initial target price is $2.95, aligning with the resistance level. If the price reaches $2.95, consider moving the stop-loss to the entry price of $2.75 to secure profits and protect against a potential reversal. If the price continues to rise and approaches the upper Bollinger Band, a secondary target price of $3.05 can be considered, but with a tighter stop-loss placed closer to the current price. This combined approach balances risk and reward, capitalizing on both technical indicators and key price levels. Based on the historical data and forecast, BNB exhibits a strong uptrend. The price has consistently moved higher, with recent days showing significant gains. The RSI values have generally been above 50, indicating bullish momentum, with some periods approaching overbought levels. The Bollinger Bands have been expanding, confirming the increasing volatility and upward trend. The forecast for the next week projects further price increases, reaching $1,290. Given this analysis, I recommend a long position strategy. Entry price should be $1,170, with a stop loss set at $1,150 to mitigate potential downside risk. The initial target price should be $1,240, aligning with the forecast high for midweek. To maximize potential returns, I suggest a dynamic target price adjustment. If the price reaches $1,240, consider moving the stop loss to break even, $1,170, and setting a new target price of $1,290, based on the forecast. This strategy combines the RSI and Bollinger Band signals with the forecast data to capitalize on the prevailing uptrend. If the price reaches $1,290, consider taking partial profits and adjusting the stop loss to protect the remaining position. This adaptive approach allows for flexibility and optimization of returns based on market conditions. Based on the historical data and forecast, Solana demonstrates an overall upward trend, supported by consistently testing the $212 support level and approaching the $234 resistance. The RSI consistently fluctuates, but recently has been trending upwards, indicating increasing buying pressure. The Bollinger Bands show that the price is currently approaching the upper band, suggesting a potential for a pullback. My strategy will be a combination of trend following and mean reversion. I recommend entering a long position at $224, with a stop loss placed just below the lower Bollinger Band at $192. The initial target price will be $235, aligning with the forecast and upper Bollinger Band. To refine this strategy, I'll incorporate RSI signals. If the RSI reaches 80, consider taking partial profits and adjusting the stop loss to break even. Conversely, if the RSI dips below 20, consider exiting the position or scaling down the size. Given the recent upward trend and the forecast prices, I believe this combined strategy offers a high probability opportunity for significant returns. The potential for a pullback near the upper Bollinger Band should be managed by adjusting the stop loss and target prices proactively. The final target price will be $235. Based on the historical data and forecast, Dogecoin shows a slight upward trend. The price has been fluctuating between a support level of $0.249 and a resistance level of $0.268. The RSI indicates that the asset is currently not in oversold or overbought territory, hovering around the mid-50s. The Bollinger Bands show that the price is currently near the middle band, suggesting low volatility. Considering these factors, I recommend a moderately bullish strategy. I suggest entering a long position at $0.251. The stop loss should be set just below the support level at $0.249 to protect against a potential downside reversal. The initial target price can be set at the resistance level of $0.268, aiming for a quick profit. To refine this strategy, I'll incorporate the RSI and Bollinger Band signals. When the RSI dips below 30, oversold, consider entering a long position. Conversely, when the RSI exceeds 70, overbought, consider entering a short position. If the price touches the lower Bollinger Band, it suggests a potential buying opportunity, while touching the upper Bollinger Band indicates a potential selling opportunity. Combining these signals, I recommend a portfolio with a 60% allocation to the moderately bullish strategy, long at $0.251, stop loss at $0.249, target at $0.268, and a 40% allocation to a dynamic RSI-based strategy, adjusting positions based on RSI and Bollinger Band signals. This diversified approach aims to maximize returns while mitigating risk. Based on the historical data and forecast, TRON shows a slight upward trend with price fluctuating around the $0.34 mark. The RSI consistently remains between 45 and 56, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions. The Bollinger Bands have been narrowing recently, suggesting decreasing volatility. Considering the current RSI around 56 and the forecast predicting prices above $0.34, a long position is warranted. I recommend entering a long position at $0.34. set a stop loss at $0.331, just below the lower Bollinger Band, to protect against unexpected downside movements. Aim for a target price of $0.35, near the resistance level and slightly above the forecast price of $0.348. To refine this strategy, we'll incorporate a dynamic approach using the RSI. If the price retraces and the RSI drops below 40, consider entering a long position at $0.336, with a stop loss at $0.33 and a target price of $0.345. Conversely, if the price approaches the upper Bollinger Band and the RSI exceeds 75, consider taking profits at $0.346. This combined strategy, leveraging both Bollinger Bands and RSI, aims to maximize potential returns while mitigating risks, creating a robust portfolio for TRON. Based on the historical data and forecast, Cardano has shown a mixed trend with periods of both upward and downward movement. The support price consistently remains at $0.835, while the resistance fluctuates but has been around $0.929. The RSI values have fluctuated between 35.9 and 55.3, indicating periods of both oversold and overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands show that the price has occasionally touched the lower band, suggesting potential oversold conditions. Given the current RSI of $48.6 on October 6, 2025, and the forecast for the next week, I recommend a long position with an entry price of $0.831. Place a stop-loss order at $0.828 to protect against a potential downturn, and set a target price of $0.892 for a reasonable profit. To further refine this strategy, I suggest incorporating a momentum-based approach. When the RSI falls below 30, indicating an oversold condition, initiate a long position. Conversely, when the RSI exceeds 70, indicating an overbought condition, consider a short position. The forecast data suggests a stable price range in the coming week, so I propose a moderate position size to manage risk. For this long position, the entry price is $0.831, the stop loss is $0.828, and the target price is $0.892. This combined strategy leverages both RSI and Bollinger Bands to identify optimal entry and exit points, aiming for high returns while mitigating potential losses. Based on the historical data and forecast, Wrapped Beacon ETH shows a clear upward trend. The price has been consistently increasing from $41.90 to $50.50, with a forecast indicating further gains to $5,190. The RSI has moved from an oversold level of 30.9 to 64.0, suggesting strengthening momentum. The Bollinger Bands have been widening, indicating increased volatility and potential for further price movement. Considering these factors, I recommend a long position strategy. We will enter a long position at $4,810. To manage risk, we will set a stop loss at $4,750, which is below the lower Bollinger Band. Our target price will be $5,190, aligning with the forecast data and the upper Bollinger Band. To refine the strategy, we will incorporate RSI signals. When the RSI falls below 30, we will consider entering a long position. When the RSI exceeds 70, we will consider exiting the long position. The predicted price movement based on the Bollinger Band suggests that the price will continue to rise, as the price is consistently above the center of the Bollinger Bands. Therefore, the portfolio will prioritize the long position strategy with an entry price of $4,810, a stop loss of $4,750, and a target price of $5,190. This combination leverages the upward trend, RSI momentum, and Bollinger Band volatility for potentially high returns. Based on the historical data and forecast, Chainlink shows a slight upward trend. The RSI consistently fluctuates, with values generally between 35 and 56, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions. The Bollinger Bands have been narrowing recently, suggesting a period of consolidation. Considering the support price of $22 and the resistance price of $23.5, I propose a strategy focused on capitalizing on minor upward movements. I recommend entering a long position at $21.9, placing a stop-loss order at $20 to mitigate potential losses, and setting a target price at $23.5 to secure profits. To refine this strategy, we can incorporate RSI and Bollinger Band signals. When the RSI dips below 30, it signals a potential oversold condition, and we could consider entering a long position. Conversely, when the RSI reaches above 70, it suggests an overbought condition, prompting us to consider exiting or shorting the position. If the price touches the lower Bollinger Band, it could be another entry signal for a long position. Combining these signals, I suggest a portfolio where 60% of the capital is allocated to the primary long strategy, entry at $21.9, stop loss at $20, target at $23.5, 30% is allocated to the RSI strategy, enter long when RSI is below 30, and 10% is allocated to the Bollinger Band strategy, enter long when the price touches the lower band. This diversified approach balances risk and reward, aiming for consistent gains while protecting against significant losses. Based on the historical data and forecast, Polkadot shows a generally upward trend with periods of consolidation. The RSI readings fluctuate between 40 and 60, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions consistently. However, the recent RSI values are trending upwards, suggesting increasing bullish momentum. The Bollinger Bands have been widening recently, indicating increased volatility and potential for price movement. Considering these factors, I recommend a long position strategy focusing on breakouts above the resistance level. Specifically, I suggest entering a long position at $4.28 when the price breaks above the resistance level of $4.55. Set a stop-loss order at $4.12, just below the support level, to limit potential losses. The initial target price should be $4.41, aligning with the recent high. If the price continues to rise and sustains above $4.41, consider raising the target price to $4.55. This strategy combines trend analysis, RSI signals, and Bollinger Bands volatility to maximize potential returns while managing risk. Based on the historical data and forecast, Pendle shows a fluctuating trend with periods of consolidation. The RSI consistently fluctuates around the 40 to 50 range, indicating neither strong bullish nor bearish momentum. The Bollinger Bands have been narrowing recently, suggesting a potential breakout. The support price is consistently at $4.94 and the resistance price is $4.94. Considering these factors, I propose a strategy that combines RSI and Bollinger Bands for a high-probability trade. My strategy is to enter a long position when the price touches the lower Bollinger Band and the RSI is below 40. Specifically, I recommend entering a long position at $4.64 on October 7, 2025. Place a stop-loss order at $4.38, just below the lower Bollinger Band to limit potential losses. Set a target price at $5.27, the resistance level. If the price reaches $5.27, take profit and secure the gains. This strategy aims to capitalize on potential upward movement after a period of consolidation, while managing risk with a tight stop-loss. Based on the historical data and forecast, Lido DAO shows a fluctuating trend with recent upward momentum. The RSI consistently stays within the 40 to 57 range, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions. The Bollinger Bands suggest potential volatility, with prices often testing the upper and lower bands. Considering the forecast prices, which are generally stable around 1.14 to 1.19, I recommend a moderate bullish strategy. The support price of 1.16 provides a solid floor, while the resistance at 1.3 offers a potential ceiling. I will initiate a long position when the price touches the lower Bollinger Band, specifically at $1.14. The stop loss will be set just below the support level at $1.13 to mitigate potential losses. The target price will be the resistance level of $1.3, aiming for a substantial profit. To optimize the portfolio, I will combine the RSI and Bollinger Band strategies. If the RSI falls below 20, indicating an oversold condition, I will enter a long position at $1.14, with a stop loss at $1.13 and a target price of $1.26. Conversely, if the RSI exceeds 80, signaling an overbought condition, I will avoid entering a position. If the price touches the lower Bollinger Band, I will enter a long position at $1.14, with a stop loss at $1.13 and a target price of $1.3. This combined strategy leverages both momentum and volatility indicators to maximize potential returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Virtual's protocol demonstrates a fluctuating trend with periods of consolidation and upward momentum. The RSI consistently fluctuates around the 40 level, occasionally dipping below 40 and rising above 50, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions. The Bollinger Bands have been contracting, suggesting decreasing volatility. Given this analysis, I recommend a moderately bullish strategy. We will initiate a long position at $1.05, taking advantage of a potential bounce from the lower Bollinger Band. The stop loss will be set at $1.03, just below the recent low, to protect against a potential downward reversal. The initial target price will be $1.1, aligning with the forecast price and a reasonable profit margin. To optimize returns, we'll employ a dynamic trailing stop loss. If the price reaches $1.1, we will move the stop loss to $1.08, securing a portion of the profit and limiting potential losses if the price retraces. Further, if the price continues to rise and breaks above the resistance level of $1.21, we will adjust the target price to $1.17. This strategy balances risk and reward, capitalizing on the prevailing upward trend while incorporating protective measures to safeguard against adverse market movements. This approach aims to achieve high returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Bittensor shows a clear upward trend with recent volatility. The RSI consistently dips below 50, indicating potential oversold conditions. The forecast for the next week predicts continued price increases, reinforcing the bullish outlook. Considering these factors, I recommend a long position strategy. We will utilize a combined strategy incorporating RSI and Bollinger Bands to maximize profit potential. The entry price will be $318, coinciding with the start of the forecast period and a relatively oversold condition based on recent RSI values. A stop loss will be placed at $314, just below the established support level, to mitigate potential losses. The initial target price will be $329, aligning with the forecast for October 13, 2025. To refine this strategy, we will incorporate Bollinger Bands. If the price touches the bottom band, consider entering a long position. If the price touches the top band, consider exiting the position. The revised target price will be $332, reflecting the highest forecast price for the week. This combined approach allows us to capitalize on the upward trend while managing risk effectively. The portfolio will be 70% long position and 30% cash. This provides a balance between potential gains and capital preservation, ensuring a robust and adaptable investment strategy. Based on the historical data and forecast, Bonk shows a slight upward trend, bouncing between the support price of $0.0000198 and the resistance price of $0.0000238. The RSI fluctuates, generally staying below the 80 overbought level, indicating potential for further upward movement. The Bollinger Bands show that the price is currently near the bottom band, suggesting a potential bounce. Therefore, I recommend a long position strategy. Entry price should be set at $0.0000204, coinciding with the forecast price on October 13, 2025. The stop loss should be placed at $0.0000198, just below the support level, to protect against a potential downward reversal. The target price should be $0.0000238, the resistance level, providing a reasonable profit margin. To refine this strategy, we'll incorporate the RSI and Bollinger Bands. When the RSI dips below 20, oversold, it signals a strong buying opportunity, and when it exceeds 80, overbought, it suggests a potential sell signal. Considering the forecast, if the price touches the bottom of the Bollinger Bands, $0.0000171, it further reinforces the buying signal. However, given the slight upward trend and the current RSI level, The primary strategy of entering at $0.0000204 with a stop loss at $0.0000198 and a target at $0.0000238 remains the most efficient portfolio. This approach balances risk and reward, capitalizing on the anticipated upward movement while providing a safety net against unexpected price drops. Based on the historical data and forecast, Wormhole shows a clear upward trend. The price has been consistently moving higher, supported by the Bollinger Bands which are widening, indicating increased volatility and potentially a strong uptrend. The RSI values have been fluctuating but generally trending upwards, with recent readings above 60 suggesting overbought conditions, which could present a temporary pullback opportunity. The support price is consistently at $0.12, while the resistance is at $0.136. Considering these factors, I propose a strategy focused on capitalizing on the upward momentum while managing risk. My recommended strategy is a phased entry approach. Initially, enter a long position at $0.117. Set a stop loss at $0.11, just below the support level, to protect against a potential reversal. The first target price is $0.128, near the upper Bollinger Band and resistance level. If the price reaches $0.128, take partial profits and move the stop loss to the entry price of $0.117 to secure gains and protect against further losses. For the remaining position, set a second target price at $0.133, aligning with the forecast data. This strategy combines trend following with risk management, aiming for high returns while limiting potential downside. Based on the historical data and forecast, Trust Wallet shows a clear upward trend. The price has been consistently making higher highs and higher lows, and the forecast for the next week indicates continued growth. The RSI values have generally been above 50, suggesting bullish momentum, with recent values nearing overbought territory but not exceeding it. The Bollinger Bands have been widening, indicating increased volatility and potential for further price movement. The support price of $1.49 has held firm, and the resistance price of $1.66 presents a potential target. Considering these factors, I recommend a long position with an entry price of $1.47 on October 7, 2025. To manage risk, set a stop-loss order at $1.44, just below the support level. For the target price, I suggest $1.71, aligning with the forecast for October 13, 2025. This strategy combines trend analysis, RSI, and Bollinger Bands to maximize potential returns while minimizing risk. The RSI is not oversold, so we will not use it as an entry signal. The Bollinger Bands are expanding, which indicates a potential for price movement. This combined strategy should yield high returns. Based on the historical data and forecast, PancakeSwap shows a strong upward trend, particularly evident from October 1, 2025, with a significant price surge. The support price consistently remains at $3.52, while the resistance fluctuates around $4.18. The RSI values indicate periods of both oversold and overbought conditions, with recent readings trending towards overbought territory. The Bollinger Bands have been widening, suggesting increasing volatility and potential for further price movement. Considering these factors, I propose a long position strategy, aiming to capitalize on the prevailing bullish momentum. My strategy involves entering a long position at $3.21, coinciding with the initial forecast price and a relatively low entry point within the recent upward trend. A stop-loss order will be placed at $3.10, providing a buffer against potential short-term pullbacks while remaining below the support level. The target price is set at $3.80, a reasonable profit target considering the resistance level and the potential for further upside. This strategy leverages the RSI and Bollinger Bands to identify favorable entry and exit points, while the support and resistance levels provide additional context for risk management. We will reevaluate the position daily based on the updated forecast and technical indicators. Based on the historical data and forecast, Starknet shows a clear upward trend, especially considering the recent price surge and the consistently positive forecast for the next week. The RSI indicates that the asset has been fluctuating between oversold and overbought conditions, but currently nearing overbought territory. The Bollinger Bands show that the price has been trending above the middle band, suggesting bullish momentum. Combining these factors, I propose a long position strategy focused on capitalizing on the expected continued upward movement. I will enter a long position at $0.157, placing a stop-loss order at $0.15 to protect against a potential reversal. My initial target price will be $0.173, aligning with the forecast for October 7, 2025. To further refine this strategy, I will incorporate the RSI and Bollinger Bands for dynamic adjustments. If the RSI falls below 30, indicating a significant oversold condition, I will consider averaging down the position. Conversely, if the price touches the upper Bollinger Band and the RSI exceeds 80, suggesting an overbought scenario, I will consider taking partial profits. The final target price will be $0.178, reflecting the highest forecast price for the week. This layered approach allows for flexibility and risk management, maximizing potential returns while mitigating downside exposure.